You're in the Detroit Den with Steve and Will.
Hey guys, episode 8.
We're back.
Here we go. Hitting home runs. Lots happening in football. What are we doing? I mean, we're getting pretty good at this, right?
It's getting easy.
Too easy, some would say. Lots going on with the Lions. We got action everywhere. Couple visits. Draft is in exactly 1 week from right now.
I can't wait.
1 week from today, the commissioner will be at the podium getting booed. Tomatoes thrown at his head. Most hated man in sports.
Yeah.
Let's talk some visits that we've had recently with the Lions. The biggest name of a couple big names, CJ Stroud, visiting with the Lions.
How you feel about it?
He's my number 1 rated quarterback. I don't think he falls to 6, but I definitely think he's the number 1 quarterback in the class, ahead of Bryce.
So that leads me to my next question. Do you think that he was visiting because they're thinking about trading up to get him?
I don't know. That's such a tough question. I could easily be wrong, but I don't think we're trading up for Bryce or CJ.
Yeah.
I just don't see it myself. What do you think?
I agree. If we did it, because Brad Holmes likes to be aggressive, I wouldn't be surprised, but it's not the direction I see us going either.
No, I think it's kind of like if CJ Stroud falls, maybe we get on the phone with the team who wants to move up, Tennessee, Washington, Oakland, maybe Vegas, who wants to come up and take CJ if we're still there at 6.
I think if he's there at 6, we might take him. I don't think we'll trade up to get him, but I think if he falls in our hands, just like a Christmas morning, Christmas morning gift.
Here's your new puppy. Learn how to love it.
Yeah, I think we just take him and let's go.
Give it some love. Take it on walks.
That's it.
I like it. Yeah, I won't be mad if that's who we take. I can see the direction we're headed if that's what we do. But another big name, someone we actually didn't talk about last week for the first time in the history of this long-running podcast.
I was glad we didn't.
Yeah, pretty soon we're going to be taking over The Simpsons as the longest-running show on television.
We're on a rocket ship.
I mean, they're like 25 years ahead of us, but we're slowly coming.
We're still young.
Another name, Jalen Carter, had an interview with the Lions. Brad Holmes made some comments today. What do you think?
I like what Brad said, that he made a good impression, and he kind of changed how they were feeling about him, generally, because I know if Brad's saying that, then it's all a ruse. We're not drafting him, and he's just trying to make sure nobody else knows what we're doing.
We've talked heavily about Jalen Carter ever since we started doing this. I mean, every week we like him, we don't like him, we're taking him, we're not taking him. We flip-flopped a lot. I think if you put him on that D-line and he's ready to play and his mind's right, scary.
It definitely can be scary. And I think one of the big things that they talk about is his motor and his lack of motor, I should say. And with us being able to have a rotation of guys and him not just having to carry all of the weight, I think maybe it could be a fit, maybe not. But I'm not mad if we take him. I'm not mad if we don't.
Right. Yeah, I'm still on the fence, not officially putting our mock draft out yet. We talked about that. He's high on my list, though. But he comes with some question marks.
Same.
Let's talk another kid. Another big one, not as big of a name, not a household name, I should say. Some of you probably won't know who it is. Kendre Miller, the running back from TCU, came in, did a workout, did an interview.
He's a big, strong, quick kid.
Who does he remind you of?
Oh, that's a tough one. Put me on the spot. With his feet and his size, we're gonna be careful.
Be careful, but I need an answer.
We're going to be careful. I'm going to say like a baby version of the bus.
Oh,
baby.
My God.
Baby version. And here's the only reason why I say that is because he's a big guy, obviously not as big as the bus, but he runs very patient. He's got very quick feet for a big guy, and he explodes through the holes.
I'm going to say a guy we had on our team. He reminds me of a upgraded version of Jamal Williams.
Who?
Fat. Yeah, our sworn enemy for 1 week. He's fat. He's everything you said is correct about him. He has that power and he's got more speed, more elusiveness to him. Mm-hmm. I would love to have him later in the draft, day 3. if he's on the board.
I wouldn't mind him day 3.
We'll talk about that later. Maybe we'll talk about it next week. Not as big of a name. Some of you might have heard of him. Kendre Miller, running back, TCU. He's like 6 foot, between 215, 220.
Watch his tape. You'll like him. I'll tell you that.
I think he ran like a 4.3 at the combine. He's solid running back. Let's talk people bullying our guy, Jameson Williams.
I don't understand it. I feel like Jameson Williams is the most hated on player, and he hasn't even really been on the field that much. The guy can't take a picture, make a Twitter post, can't stand next to a starting quarterback without some type of recourse. You know, even our own fans are questioning, oh, he was standing next to Jared, but his face was all frowned. He didn't look like he wanted to be there. Just everybody is talking about him in a negative. Not everybody, but a lot of people are talking about him in a negative light. Yeah, he's 22 years old.
They're shining a light on him and looking for something to dig at. And my response is, if you don't like the pictures he's taking or what he's liking on Twitter, go watch his first touchdown he scored in Detroit and tell me he wasn't ecstatic.
Are you talking about the one where he ran around the whole field, slapping people high fives and giving his dad the football? That one?
You could see him smiling through his helmet. He was excited to be here. He ran, found his dad, gave him the ball. Just leave him alone on Twitter, man. Like you said, he's a kid. Until he actually comes out and says, I have a problem with X, Y, and Z, then we can have a discussion about it. Right. Let's not break down his smile. It's just, I don't even know why we're talking about this, to be honest. So like I said, draft coming up 1 week from today exactly.
Pumped.
Carolina will be on the clock at exactly this time of the week, which means the Lions will pick roughly 5 hours later because the draft takes forever. What round do you see the Lions taking a linebacker?
Honestly, I know we've kind of been back and forth about this, but I don't see us taking a linebacker until pick 81 and beyond. You know, there's Drew Sanders there, and I don't think Drew Sanders will be there, you know, at that point. But I think there's just a lot of linebacker talent. And if you look at the guys that are playing this game at a high level, they were 3rd round and 4th round draft picks at the linebacker position. So you can get a guy that's good. But I got a question for you while we're on the linebacker subject. Are you still high on Jack Campbell?
We're going to talk about that. I'm 50-50 because we talked a couple weeks ago about Trenton Simpson and the scheme that the Lions could be running, stolen from, you know, teams like the Niners and New Orleans. It really just depends on which direction they want to go scheme wise. I still like Jack Campbell. I think we could take a linebacker possibly as early as day 2.
Yeah, I think I draft Jack Campbell in like the 7th round.
Oh my God, dude. 7th round.
Maybe take him as a free agent. Maybe. Other than that, the dude runs the 40 in 4.5, but you watch his tape and it looks like he runs it in 5 minutes.
Why don't you just keep talking and just let me know when you're done?
I'm
7th round, Jack Campbell.
I literally got at least 5 linebackers off the top of my head that I would draft ahead of him.
I'm not saying he's my number 1. I'm just saying.
Is he your number 2?
He's in my top 3 or 4, I believe.
Okay.
I mean,
give me Drew Sanders.
Who? A skinny guy?
Yeah.
No butt?
Give me him. Deion Henley. I take him over him. Overshown from Texas. I take him over him. Henry Toa, however you pronounce his last name.
Tutu?
I'm taking him over him, man. It's just, and then Dorian Williams out of Tulane. I take him. I mean, and these are all guys that are 6'2", 6'3", 6'4". They can run, they can cover, and they come downhill screaming. I take those guys first. It is fit what the NFL is now.
Hey, I never said where I had them ranked, but let's not talk about linebackers all day. But you see him taking one day 3. I say as early as day 2. I don't know. We'll see. We got to see what we do in the first round first.
True.
Another question we came up with. We have 9 current picks for next week's draft. Do we have room for 9 players, or is Brad about to work something up?
Honestly, I can't see us drafting 9 guys and us having 9 guys make the team. And that feels so good to say as a Detroit Lions fan.
Where do you see a trade coming from then?
Honestly, I think Brad Holmes, it could come from anywhere. I think he's got his board of guys that he wants at 6. If a guy he thinks that he wants would be there and he could trade down and still get him, I think you see it at 6. You could see it at 18. You could see maybe him taking those 2 second rounders or a second and that extra 5th rounder he just got and trading back up to the 1st round. It's just the possibilities are endless. You got a set one that you got in mind, or what you think?
I've been saying for a month now I want that number 3 pick. So someone actually asked what would it cost for us to move up to that number 3 pick. So did a little research. Everyone maybe has heard of this draft sheet that, value points that teams go by, like actually have them in their draft rooms while they're drafting.
Mm-hmm.
The 3rd pick has a value of 2,200 points. The Lions' 6th pick is a value of 1,600. So that means we have to come up with 600 points to make the difference for Arizona to be interested.
Yeah.
And that's given up a 2nd round pick, number 48, I believe, and a 3rd.
Yeah. But I don't think it's too much, but you also got to remember you're competing with whoever wants that guy, whether it's Will Anderson or whether it's one of the quarterbacks. So you might get into a bidding war with someone.
You know what my sweetener is?
Talk to me.
I'm giving you pick 6. I'm swapping. I'm giving you pick 48. I'm giving you a 3rd this year or next. You want to know where the sugar comes from?
Where's the sugar come from?
DeAndre Swift.
Just a little cherry on top.
Just a little sprinkle. They need a running back. He'd be a solid 2. He'd be a number 1 if he's healthy. Possibly him, and I think they still have James Conner, don't they? I'm pretty sure they do. I don't know.
They do.
Could be wrong.
They got James Conner.
You put DeAndre Swift as an RB2 and give him some solid carries in that offense. 1, 2, 3, and D Swift. I'm taking it.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it as long as we're drafting a running back.
Eventually,
then that running back room looks like David Montgomery and Craig Reynolds, who went to some college that I still don't know.
Kutztown.
Yeah, I'm still mad about that.
They might sign Kingston upstairs. Never know.
He's better than Craig Reynolds. Craig Reynolds is tough. Let me stop.
He's not as tough.
I'm just salty about him.
Yeah, not a fan. So I think that's what it would take to move up to 3. Get Will Anderson. I'm telling you, he's my number 1 guy since last year. I've said it 1,000 times. Would have been a number 1 pick last season, wasn't eligible. Give me him in Detroit, just wrecking quarterbacks for the next 5 years with Hutch, McNeil, Kaminsky, whoever else we get.
It'd be scary.
I would just miss a flight on a Sunday if I'm coming into Detroit.
I'm definitely going to fake an injury if I'm a quarterback.
You want to get into some questions here?
Let's talk about it. We got
Paul Crick asked a question. Our lifelong loyal member, our Denonite. That's what we call our followers, our Denonites.
That's right.
Your Brad Holmes, Stroud and Young just went 1 and 2. Arizona's on the clock. They're willing to move down. Do you make a deal to grab him? We just talked about that.
No. He's got another one, though.
You got one?
Didn't Crick have another one?
I only have the one on here.
Got you. Let's see what we got in the chat. Eric Mann said that he thinks that Anderson's going number 2. So the Texans aren't going to take they're not going to take a quarterback. They're going to go Will Anderson.
I have been seeing that Houston's not in love with CJ Stroud, whether it's smoke or there's some facts behind that. I mean, if that's the case, they'd have to take Will Anderson. But I don't see them. I mean, they do have the future 1st round pick next year. They'll have two firsts next year from Cleveland. They could make a move next season. But I mean, it really depends. You're giving up something next year because I think they're going to be a better team.
Yeah.
And with D'Amico Ryans coming there as their coach now, he's a defensive-minded guy, played linebacker. Who better to learn from if you're Will Anderson,
right?
So yeah, that's a possibility.
Oh,
your mom's on here.
Oh shoot!
Oh no.
How many games do we think the Lions are going to win this year?
Hey, Miss Cheryl, we're going to get into that. The schedule comes out in about a month, May 12th. We will do a full prediction. We'll go through the schedule, the primetime games, what we're thinking. I know they're over under with Vegas right now is 9.5.
I'll tell you this. I think they're going to win more games than last year.
So 10. I don't care. You got to get me enough wins to get a home playoff game. I'm telling you, I need it.
Yeah.
I need a home game. So we'll talk about that, Miss Cheryl. Once the schedule actually comes out. I mean, we know who they're playing. We know who's at home, we know who's away, but we just don't know the order in which it'll be. I'm kind of hoping, you know who I'm kind of hoping for Thanksgiving? I want to see Oakland here or Vegas.
I want them Dallas Cowboys.
Well, we don't play them, and they have their own Thanksgiving game. Come on, Chief.
No, I know. I'm just got to, I still got a little salt in my veins with Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
I just don't like him.
Run your mouth. You got to come get punched.
A guy can dream.
Yeah. What else we got for questions here?
I did want to say real quick before we go on. Did you see that they cleared DeMar Hamlin to get back to playing some football?
I know what you want me to say.
I don't want you to say anything, but you're happy that this guy's back.
Yeah, thrilled. I mean, realistically, yeah, I'm thrilled. But I will say this: he cost me a little money on a game last year.
I wasn't gonna bring it up, but
Bengals money line was a lock. I'm up 7 with the ball at midfield, and that happens.
This poor man,
FanDuel
almost died. And you're talking about your money line on FanDuel.
Hey, that was a 3-game parlay, and I needed that last one.
Unbelievable, this guy.
Huge odds.
You're
not
savage.
Happy. I texted you that like
you did.
FanDuel's about to get me right here, aren't they? They did. They at least gave me a push, but that would have been a nice little payout. Wasn't thrilled, but hey, glad to have him back. Speaking of players that are coming back from injury, we got our own coming back, Savion Smith.
Yeah, Emily just put that in the chat. Let him know something, babe. Let him know something. Okay, so yeah, Savion Smith is kind of another one that was in the same boat. He got into a collision with I think it was Hunter Henry, and couldn't move, couldn't talk, and left the field on a stretcher and wasn't sure if he'd ever play again. And the Lions just recently re-signed him. And he's one of those guys that he'll be a bubble guy, that hopefully he can contribute something to make the team. But either way, just happy that guy's walking and talking and being able to get back to his family.
Absolutely. I mean, regardless of what happens on the football field, you want to go home at the end of the day in the condition you came in. Just like we say at Fermi, maybe we got to start doing some care checks on the football field.
Timeout.
Yeah, we're not talking Fermi stuff ever again. For last time right there. There's something we almost missed. You know where I'm going?
I don't.
Come on, Chief. What was the biggest thing that happened in the NFL like 2 days ago? Jalen Hurts.
Oh man, don't get me started. This is a heartbreaker.
He got a check.
He got a bag, is what he got. And we both were worried about what? Let's talk about that.
Goff is gonna want a hefty amount of money.
Gotta pay him, man. If you want to,
do we?
If you don't want to get a quarterback this year and next year, you got to pay him. And it's going to be hard for us to get a quarterback when we're picking number 32.
Facts. That's Super Bowl pick right there. Pick 32. That tells me we won the bowl. Yeah. Goff's going to want $45 million. That is a lot of money. I know the salary cap goes up every year, but when you start giving quarterbacks $45 million, you're handcuffing yourself.
If Daniel Jones is getting $40 million,
is Goff better than Daniel Jones?
He's definitely better.
He's definitely better. Is he only $5 million less than Jalen Hurts though?
It's a tough call.
I mean, there's a lot of things I could do with $5 million, but in the
NFL, 50,000.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I could do with $50.
A lot of things you've done for that's a family show. Never mind.
Easy. I've done it for way less than $50 too. Yeah, Goff's gonna want money. We got to make a decision here soon. I think I texted you. I said, man, I don't know. I can see a quarterback at 6 now.
Yeah,
there's a path that leads to a quarterback at 6, and it happened Tuesday when Jalen Hurts signed his contract because Goff's the next big quarterback to sign something. I'm pretty sure him and Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's getting $60 million.
Yeah, Joe Burrow's gonna get a real bag. He's going to get a real bag. He might set the market again on a different level.
We got to make a decision here soon on what we're doing with Goff. If we take a quarterback at 6, I think the writing's on the wall that Goff's days this is probably his last year. So we'll know next week, I think.
While we're talking quarterbacks, I can't help but talk about the fact that they're shopping out our boy Trey Lance, shopping him around. What you think about that?
I know where you're going because I told you something the other day, and
I'm just run with it.
You got the cross in the front yard. The kids are getting the nails. Emily's getting the hammer.
I'm not gonna be out here passing out your address like you did me, but just speak the truth.
I don't want them, but I mean, if I could give up a 5th round pick for a kid who was drafted number 3 overall, who hasn't really played, I'll take a shot. They showed me that a 5th round pick is the going rate for a number 3 overall pick with injury concerns with Jeff Okudah. Fact?
That's true.
So I'll give you that 5th.
I don't think they'll let him go for a 5th, but
well, I mean, I ain't giving up much more than that. I ain't giving up a whole lot for a guy who's broke his leg and already had questions coming out of the draft.
I think they're gonna wait till somebody's desperate. I don't think they're in any rush to get from out under him.
You know where I think he'd be a good fit at? Baltimore.
Running the ball.
If they don't bring back Lamar, that's a spot.
There's been talk about those guys trading up, go get their quarterback.
What else we got? We got some questions coming in here. Got some questions on Facebook. Where are we at?
I'm seeing a lot of loyal people on here.
Our Denonites.
They're in here. I see Eric Mann. I see Caitlin in here. All right, Mike Beach is in here. We did put out that TikTok question.
Yep.
So on our TikTok, we put out a question, and the question was, as a Lions fan, this is the 90th season. All right, Detroit Lions football. And we've yet to get that Super Bowl. We got that championship before the Super Bowl a few times, but since when we're talking Super Bowls, we have yet to get one.
Right.
And we put out, what would you be willing to sacrifice for a guaranteed, 100% guaranteed Lions Super Bowl victory? We got a couple. We said we were going to talk about a few of the good ones. This is one of my favorite. Don Pierce said he would cook for me for a week, and I've had that man's food, and he can throw down.
I've never ate his food, but if it's free food for a year, I mean, I'm willing to take it. I'll take a bite.
He said a week, not a year, but a year it would be even better.
Just a week?
Yeah, I'd take a week. You wouldn't take a week of free food?
I mean, I would. I'm not going to turn. Look at me. You think I'm going to turn down a free meal? Come on, Chief. Someone asked me, a coworker we were walking out the other day, asked, would I give up? I hope Sarah's not watching. Would I give up Disney trips for life? And I said, yeah, because I'll still go to Universal and knock out Harry Potter World. That's a no-brainer. Next.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I find that gray line, and I'm going to live in there for a little bit. That's what I'm willing to give up.
I see how you roll.
Yeah.
Seth King put a banger in here. Seth King said he would give up a kidney, and it was an easy decision. He didn't even have to think about it.
I mean, I'm not against it.
We got Travis from our Twitter page. Travis J 231 said he'd give up everything that he owns.
Facts.
Just let it.
Travis, don't know who you are. Feel free to join our public Facebook group. Get in our draft challenge. We're doing free giveaways.
Facts.
Someone else was asking some stat lines for Jameson Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown. And this person, Paul Crick, is a member of our fantasy football league. I think he's poaching for some information.
He wants a little inside.
Yeah, you want a little insight, Paul? I don't know. I'm not going to tell you what I'm willing to pay, but I will tell you that I think Amon-Ra St. Brown individually, I think he will have a better season than he did this year. I mean, I don't know his stat line off the top of my head, but I think he's steadily shown that he's taken steps.
I think it's going to be real easy to get open when everybody's worried about Jameson Williams going 80 yards.
So I could see him getting close to 100 catches, over 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns, somewhere in that area.
That's fair.
Same question with Jameson Williams. I'll let you answer that one.
What type of year he's going to have?
Stat line.
See, I'm not about these stats, at least not yet, but I will say this about Jameson Williams. I think that Jameson Williams is going to prove that he's special, and he is going to have at least, we're talking 17 weeks. I'm going to say at least 6 plays over 40 yards. At least 6.
Oh, I'd take the over on that.
No.
Easily. I could see him getting somewhere between 60 to 75 catches. I know that's kind of a wide range. I don't think he cracks 1,000 yards, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
I could see him cracking 1,000.
Yeah,
he's gonna have big plays.
Wouldn't shock me, and maybe like 6-7 touchdowns, somewhere in there. But real quick, we have a big problem. I don't know if you've noticed what's going on in this broadcast.
What's happening?
Both of our moms are in here.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, we have to clean it up.
Tighten up.
Yeah. Hey,
put my tie on.
Mom, you should definitely be in bed. It's way too late for you to be up. This is a family show. We're gonna be minding our P's and Q's for the rest of the night. Yeah, that's what we think for Amon-Ra St. Brown and their Jameson stat line. I think it's fair. I don't know. I know, Paul. I know you're looking for some insight. I know what you're up to. I said it before we even came on the air tonight.
Riley Wood, my right-hand man, would like us to talk about Lamar. I promised him last week that we would talk about Lamar. Will you please say some kind words about Lamar?
You blatantly said I don't want to talk about Lamar last week.
He knows better than that.
Now you want to?
That's a lie. He knows better.
I think Lamar's going to end up tucking tail and going back to Baltimore.
Think so?
Yeah.
So he's not coming to Detroit.
But here's what I want you to do real quick is put out your scenario that you gave me a little while ago on what a team will do after the draft.
What a team will do after the draft?
Yeah, trading after the draft.
Oh, I got you. So I think that a lot of these teams are waiting to see, what's going to happen during the draft, whether or not they can get the quarterback that they're trying to get as far as trading up and, not showing their hand. And then after the draft, when they're desperate, they're going to go after him.
Right.
Oh, and they didn't want to take that risk either of, if they put their hand out there and then the Ravens, they got the opportunity to match because they tagged them. Right. But now if you're desperate, you'll be a lot more willing to just show your hand and do what you got to do. So those teams like the Washington Commanders and the Tennessee Titans who need to tighten up, they're struggling. They're just letting everybody go, but the guy we wanted them to let go, Simmons.
Yeah.
But
they're in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes for next year.
That makes sense. Tank.
Yeah, they'll be bottom 3 for sure. I have no doubt about that. Yeah, I'm keeping it clean, Mom. Love you.
Mrs. Perkins, I've been trying to keep him in line.
Sarah, I'll put your pillow outside. Yeah, I had to sleep in my truck last week after I said we weren't going to Disney, but luckily I have a truck that has a nice comfy back seat. Gets a little cold, but I brought a blanket with me this week. I was prepared.
I told you got the man cave. You're more than welcome.
Yeah, might see. Locks are probably changed again. We'll talk a little Pistons.
Yeah. Let's start off with the coach. Who are you thinking for Pistons new head coach now that we took Dwayne Casey and gave him a raise in a new position?
Yeah, win 17 games, you get a promotion. Makes no sense to me. Coach, I know he hasn't had an interview yet. I did a little research this past week and I double checked it today. Udoka. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Ime Udoka. Former coach for the Celtics, has not had an interview yet, but I do know that he interviewed with Houston, I think yesterday or today. I can't remember. That's my number one choice. I mean, I don't care what he's doing with whoever in the front office, texting inappropriately, whatever. He's a coach. He wins. That's what we need.
I think we need to dig into that and figure out what exactly that situation is before we bring him in. But I did do some digging into him as well because I like him. And he is one of the guys that I'm really big on. I did Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum spoke nothing but highly about him. And he said that he was the favoriteest coach he's ever had. He's played for all the way up through playing any basketball throughout his whole life.
Riley said he's a ball coach. Just hide your wives. True.
Riley is cold-blooded.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then so did Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown said he loves him too. So the guy has been successful. The players love him. So I think he definitely deserves to get another opportunity. Here's the kicker on that. I want Ime Udoka, and I want him to bring Kevin Garnett. And there's more. We're in this, the draft. We don't want to get too far ahead. We got the NFL draft, but the NBA draft is going to be coming up after that, May 17th, I believe. And there's a guy that we've been talking about, Victor Wembanyama.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of these coaches are waiting to see who wins that sweepstakes to decide if they're going to come. So I guarantee it's going to be a lot easier to get a guy like Ime if you win Victor in the draft.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think that's spot on. But I also think we also have, out of the top 5 in the odds, we have the best team. Maybe I'm being a homer, but I just look at what we've acquired over the last 3 seasons. Got a bunch of young kids with high level talent. So, I mean, if that's not already a selling point, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I think we didn't just play cohesively. I know Cade wasn't out there But Killian Hayes is like just a cancer to any team. I wouldn't want him on my 7th grade basketball team. He's just terrible. He plays good defense. He'll hustle, but he just should never shoot the basketball outside of 8 feet.
Yeah, I mean, let's not have a Killian Hayes show, but
Yeah.
there were some other people that we interviewed. Charles Lee, Milwaukee assistant coach. Kevin Ollie, former UConn men's coach, national champ in 2014. Chris Quinn, Miami Heat assistant coach. And Jerry Stackhouse is on the list, former Piston.
Yep.
I don't know if he had an interview. Currently coaching at Vanderbilt, former Piston. You said a couple weeks ago you'd like to have a former player. That's the only one that's on the list that played for the Pistons.
Yeah, but there's another guy out there. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah, I think
I don't know if you know him.
This was a setup.
He was on my mind today. Chauncey Billups, man. Chauncey Billups, I know he's in Portland, but Portland missed the playoffs this year. The players love him. Players love Chauncey.
Detroit loves him.
Detroit loves him more.
Would he ruin his legacy though if he comes here? Kind of like Isaiah?
I think that he would just start his legacy again if he came here. Just do it, win a championship as a player, and then go win one as a coach. You get Chauncey here. Rasheed had that situation that went on with the Lakers where the Lakers were going to bring him in and something happened where they didn't end up bringing him in. But you bring Rasheed back in and we get back to that 2004. Just we get young guys that'll hustle, that'll play defense, that'll play team basketball. I think we could set this league on fire and we could do it for a long time with a nice young core of Cade Cunningham, Ivy, Jalen Duren, and then Victor Wembanyama. We'd be scary, man. We'd be scary.
I think we already should be scary. We just got to tighten up that defense, get a little bit more depth, get some veterans. So those are some coaching candidates that have had interviews. There's a guy that we want that hasn't had an interview. I think if they bring him into Detroit, he's not leaving without a contract. Maybe that might be why they're waiting. Maybe they say, hey, you're here. Here's what we're offering. Tell us what you want.
Yeah.
Once he gets here, I think it's going to be a final deal, not an interview. It's here's your offer.
Blank check.
I don't know about blank check, but I mean,
get a guy a blank check.
It's not my money. We were going to talk about some Pistons free agents, but there's not really that many big name free agents coming out this year. You got to hit the draft.
Chris Middleton.
Yeah, there's some guys that could come out and help. Don't get me wrong.
That's the only one I would want would be Chris Middleton.
You know,
knockdown shooter.
I did write one down the other day, and I think I'm probably going to get beat up if I say it.
Tread lightly.
But, yeah. Draymond Green. Hey, man, that guy wins championships, and he plays defense. And he holds people accountable. Yeah, he might step on you a little bit, but literally.
You want to bring Draymond Green.
Take away all of the negative news. Look at his resume. Tell me he wouldn't be. Did you like the Detroit Bad Boys back in the day?
Is Miss Cindy still in here? Because does she know what Draymond Green did on Snapchat? Does she know the guy you're trying to bring in here?
Hey, Cindy P knows good basketball. How dare you?
Don't bring Draymond Green in here.
Just look at his resume and what he's accomplished.
With the Splash Brothers and Kevin Durant.
I'm not saying
Andre Iguodala.
I'm not saying he's going to be the focal point of the team, but I'm saying he brings a little something that we need.
Chauncey and Rasheed will bring it. Kevin Garnett and
the only thing Chauncey better bring with him is Damian Lillard.
Don't need him. We got Cade and Jaden.
All right. Next topic. What do we got here? Bears fans.
I think you hit it on the nose the other day when you said they're just easy.
They're easy, man. Easy to get under.
What do you got to say to them to get under their skin?
Your team is not going to be what they think it's going to be. They are not there yet. They're acting like the division is theirs. And I know we're doing the same, but I think we are just set up far beyond them. I'm just being real. I'm not being a homer. I mean, I think the Bears are on the right track. I said it our first episode. They trade that number 1 pick. It'll pay off later. They're just not there. They've just been thinking the division's theirs. They're buying Super Bowl tickets.
I think that it's been said time and time again. You don't create a team that has longevity with free agency.
No,
you don't do it. What are they? DJ Moore he's been hit and miss. He shows up like 3 or 4 weeks a season, just enough to try to be competitive and ruin a couple people's fantasy weeks here and there, make you silly enough to pay too much money for him. Chase Claypool, he's another one, supremely overrated. Do they have any other receivers out there?
End of list.
Right. Like, I mean, we went into their backyard and stole their running back right under their nose.
Right from you.
Right.
Went into your house,
Yeah.
took your running back, grabbed some cookies on the way out.
Right.
Went back, hit I-94 back to Detroit.
Yep. Looked him in the eyes as we walked out. Yeah, he's with
Yeah.
us now.
Yeah, I was getting into it pretty good with Bears fans the other day on Twitter, just back and forth, just stirring the pot, ruffling some feathers. Too easy. They were very upset. I got threatened. I got threatened by a guy with 14 followers. Like, buddy, you've been on Twitter for 14 years. Have more than 14 followers. All right, let's play a little draft game real quick.
What you got?
Here's the rules. I'm gonna ask you a question. You answer with a player. You cannot use the same player for any other question, and you cannot go in depth based on your answer. You throw out a player, and that's it.
You ask me a question.
No reasoning. You just name a player.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I think so.
All right. Favorite player in the draft this year?
Devon Witherspoon.
Okay. A player you don't get the hype around?
Tyree Wilson.
I wish I could let you explain. Player that will be a day one starter?
How many do you want me to name?
You get one.
Bijan Robinson.
Easy. A player that is most likely to make it to the Hall of Fame?
Ooh. Zach Charbonnet. Will Anderson.
I wish that was the last question because I just hit in the show. Player whose name you might not know right now, but this time next year you will.
Oh, that's easy. Henry To'oTo'o. Oh, I got a nasty one.
Nope,
that
you don't
nobody.
get any.
I got one that nobody knows.
I
Go
explain
ahead.
the rules. Play by the rules.
All right.
A player comparison that's your favorite.
Player comparison.
Yeah.
Player comparison. That's easy. Jahmyr Gibbs and Alvin Kamara.
I like that. All right, that's it. If you guys got any questions from Facebook, start rattling them off. We're wrapping it up. We're at 40 minutes. Let's have a little interaction with our Denonites. Matt Wilcox, one of my old Army buddies. You think the Lions have a chance to meet the Cowboys and ultimately get destroyed in the NFC Championship this year? If Micah Parsons thinks he wants to come to Detroit when you guys win a wild card, you can come on over.
Yeah, we haven't put out our mock draft yet, but if we draft who we were talking about earlier in this draft, Micah, please show up. You're going to get dominated.
You already got dominated by Sewell when we played you this week or this year. You might have won the game, but Micah, was he even on the field? Don't remember seeing him.
Oh, my uncle said, what about the old coach from Villanova?
He's with not Jay. No, not Jay Wright. Is that his name? Jay Wright?
Oh.
You'd have to say his name for me to remember. I'm just drawing a blank right now.
Unc put his name in the chat.
Paul Craig, biggest surprise from the Tigers this year that they were able to win 5 games in a row. That's my big surprise. Like, I did not see that coming, especially at this point of the season.
Tim Furstenberg. Timmy said, bring Draymond Green in. No question. Stop it, Timmy. Stop it.
Tim's on Facebook?
Yeah, he's on. He's in here. He might be on YouTube.
Oh, I guess I'm
Drew Backley in the building. What's up, Drew?
I don't see him on here. Did he ask something or did he just pop on?
Oh, wow. Drew, did you see what Drew said?
No.
This is a family show. I'll tell you that.
Oh, boy.
Biggest surprise from the Tigers so far. I think you answered that. The 5 wins in a row. I do want to say, though, what do you think about those 5 wins? You think it was a fluke, or do you think that we're going to be more competitive than people might have thought we were going to be?
I'm going to say, gun to my head, I got to call that a fluke. 3 of the wins were by walk-off. 2 of them walk-off home runs. It's cool to see, but that's not very sustainable when you start getting against really good teams.
Russell Shock threw one out there. He said, what happens if the Pistons don't get the top pick? Russ, I would say this. Scoot I don't know if you've seen Scoot. He's 6'2", and he kind of plays very similar to Derrick Rose. He is explosive. He finishes at the basket. He can shoot the ball as well. I think we either draft him or Brandon Miller out of Alabama if we get any of the top 3 picks. I think Brandon Miller might fit us better playing that wing because we already got Cade and Jaden Ivey. But I think that's what happens. Now, if we get pick 4, it'll be the other Thompson brother. And if we get pick 5, we might as well just scratch the draft and forget about it.
Buddy, we got some collusion going on here with our moms.
What's going on?
I think they teamed up and called themselves Team Moms. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
We got to break this dynasty up.
We got to break it. Hold on. Let me boot my mom out.
You boot her out, she's gonna put a boot in your butt. Just remember that.
We're still recovering from the Rice Krispie treats.
Carl Ford, he won a national championship as coach of Villanova and played at Villanova. I just can't think of his name.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about. I'm just drawing an absolute blank on names. Fire off some questions, guys.
Drew, they will be advertising Bud Light next week. Hey, we're looking for sponsors.
Yeah. Hey, if they're paying, I'll drink Bud Light on the show.
Yeah, that's no joke. Like we're seriously looking for some people to sponsor us and help us out. We got some big plans here moving forward.
Yeah.
Tim said Derrick Rose is 101. I agree with you, Tim. Until you saw Ja Morant, he's 101 too. I don't know if you watched Ja.
Yeah, problem. I think we're running out of questions. Our viewers must be getting tired. It's getting late at night. 8:44. Playoff hockey going on.
Yeah,
there's a lot happening. Real quick before we end, I have to give a shout out to my cousin, Sergeant First Class Joshua Archer. Got a promotion the other day.
That's awesome.
A couple weeks ago, and graduated drill sergeant school yesterday. Super proud, man. You're doing great things. I don't know if you're on here watching. I'm going to tag you and let you watch. I think he's going into year 15 of his contract. So we're getting to the 20 mark. So proud of you, man. Congrats. Go do good things. Love you. And I'll see you when you get home. I'll take you to the Lions game.
There you go.
That's it for the show, guys. We're going to do our mock draft next Wednesday. Maybe we'll be live.
Make sure that you get into the draft challenge. Don't forget about it. Steve made a little mishap last week saying that we were going to go up into an hour before the draft. That would just be crazy. It's going to be a nightmare. So we're going to shut this thing down the night before the draft at midnight. So you have until midnight, and then we're going to go through, verify, and lock everybody's stuff, and we're going to take pictures of them just to verify you're not going in there and editing, because we haven't figured out a way to make sure they're locked. So you have the night until the night before the draft at midnight to change your picks and switch them around if somebody gets hurt or you're just feeling somebody different, to go in there and change those things. But remember, that draft challenge is 100% free. You can go in there and you get the opportunity to win, Steve.
Yep.
To win Fanatics gift card, or was it
right now the vote is still open. It's between Fanatics and B-Dubs. It's real close.
Yeah.
So we'll end that at the same time. Some of you guys are voting and not in the draft challenge. Maybe you're waiting. I don't know. But if you're in the vote, go ahead and just get in. It's free. It's not cost you guys anything. Just fill out some names. Yeah.
And we got that link up there. So it'll give you the top 350 players. All you got to do is pick 5 of those guys and you can get in there and potentially win a $50 card to somewhere. So
public Facebook group, Detroit Den 313, free to join, hop in, leave some comments, get in on some free challenges. It's that easy.
Yep. Everybody in here, make sure you're subscribed. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, guys. See you next week.
Where am I supposed to go from here?